Our feet are our foundation for almost all athletic movements, and so it's pretty crazy that the vast majority of athletes are missing some kind of direct foot training in their daily routine, even when they have an otherwise well-rounded strength and conditioning program. So if that sounds like you, it's very likely that training your foot health and function directly is one of the most bang for buck things that you can spend your time on when it comes to preventing and resolving lower body injuries and even enhancing athletic performance, especially when you combine it with some key balance training drills. So that's exactly what we're going to do in this routine. We'll cover off on some of the most important elements of foot and ankle function, and then we'll get into some dynamic balance training to integrate the feet with the rest of the body. This routine is designed to be done with a Soulmate kit, but if you don't have one, don't stress. I'll be talking through some simple household alternatives that you can use so that you can still have a go at each drill. And we do now have a growing global community of TFC athletes and coaches who are integrating this kind of training with our tools. So if you'd like to join them, just head to the link in the description below. And otherwise, let's get stuck in. All right, to kick things off, we're going to start with some plantar release, which is a great way to mobilize the bottom of our foot and just wake things up. So grab your mini roller, you have most of your weight on the back side first, and you gradually add weight onto the front as you roll down the foot from the base of the toe all the way down towards the heel. Slower the better with this one. And then you would take your weight back on the back leg, reset, and then go again. So if you don't have one of these mini rollers, you could use, I guess, a rolling pin, maybe not the one you usually use for baking, or you can just use a tennis ball. That'll get pretty soft pretty quick, and otherwise any mobility ball can be used. Basically anything that gets you that sort of hurt so good feeling on the bottom of your foot. You're going 1 minute on one side, working into those spots as best you can, trying to breathe through it, not tensing up and holding your breath against it. And then 1 minute on the other side. So over time, you'll gradually increase your tolerance through there. Some of that's just related to muscle tension. Sometimes it's joint stiffness, but over time this will mobilize all of that and you'll be able to push more and more of your body weight onto there. Eventually, whatever you're using to roll, you should be able to build up to tolerating your whole body weight on that. So if you can't do that, you've still got some work to do. Again though, it shouldn't feel like you're really killing your feet. It should be uncomfortable but tolerable, and eventually will start to feel good. All right, next up we're going to do a minute of foot intrinsic work focusing on toe splay and dexterity. If you've got these bands, you can wrap them around your big toes just to get more of that abduction position that we want. If you don't have the bands, don't worry, you don't actually necessarily have to use them. And what we're doing here is working on some toe lifts, up and down, and then you're trying to get alternating toe lifts. So little toes down, big toes up, and then big toes down, little toes up, like so. That can be challenging at first. If you need to, you might want to hold down the big toes and lift, hold down the little toes, lift the big toes, and vice versa. That can help you just get the pattern, but build up to be able to do that separately like that. And you can even go for what we call a toe piano, which is where you lift all the toes and then go pinky toe down first, ring toes, middle toes, pointers, and then big toes, and then you reverse big toe, pointers, middle, ring, and pinky. So whichever variation you're working on, do that for a minute, and then you can move on. Next up, we're going to get some ankle involvement with some ankle circles. So standing on one leg, if you need to use a wall for balance, please do. And otherwise, you're just drawing the biggest circle that you can with your toe, which is just taking your ankle through its full range of motion, or its largest active range of motion. 30 seconds on one side, try and go both directions. Don't just speed through this, really take it nice and slow and really explore what your range of motion is and try to increase it over time. You might get a few foot cramps with this, which is just a sign that they need a bit more of it. So 30 seconds on one, change side, 30 seconds on the other. As far as possible in each direction. Even with each circle, try and get further and further, and notice any points that are a bit jerky. So over time you want to get that range of motion bigger and bigger, and also the movement itself smoother and smoother. Next up, we're working on toe flexion and extension with this rocking movement. So one foot is forward with the toes up on the soulmate like that, and the base of the toes on the ground. You could use a rolled up towel if you don't have a soulmate. The other foot is actually tucked behind you, as you can see, into this flexion position. So from here, you're rocking your weight back onto the back foot, which will increase the stretch there. And then you rock your weight forward onto the front foot and lift that heel, which will increase the stretch in the big toes. Really nice and slow and controlled. Just explore your range of motion as you can tolerate. That might just be going to there and lifting a tiny bit, or you can really push that knee over the toe like that. So we're aiming for 1 minute total on one side, and then swapping side, and another minute setting up like that. Now with this back foot, if that's a bit uncomfortable, you could use another rolled up towel just to soften that a little bit, or a square of cushion or an actual cushion, whatever you need to do to make that tolerable depending on what surface you're on. So rocking, nice and slow, get that extension, and then back. Try and keep this stance leg as straight as possible, and this back leg, straightening it out, and that will give you more of that flexion stretch. Next up, we're training strength and mobility through the whole foot ankle complex with this rotating raise. So use a wall or a dowel for balance. Rotate or pronate onto your big toes as you raise up like that, and then put the pressure more towards your pinky toe as you then lower back down. You're then lifting all your toes off the ground, and then rotating again, pronating and everting the ankle to then go up onto the toes and repeat. So nice and slow with this one. We're going for a minute total, 30 seconds in one direction and then 30 seconds in the opposite direction. If it's a lot of pressure on the forefoot, you could use a rolled up towel or a folded up towel just to give you that cushioning. Otherwise, you're just working on smoothing out the movement and increasing the range of motion over time. Next up, we're working on a tandem compass reach. So this is where we're getting into our dynamic balance training. You'll get your soulmate positioned like that, one foot in front of the other, like so, and have the back foot, the back heel up, so most of your weight is on the front foot. Then what we're doing from here is using the hacky, or you could use a tennis ball, any kind of ball that is about that size, or a balled up pair of socks will do. Placing that with your right hand as far as you can in the north direction, standing back up, grabbing it with your left hand, and then you're repeating to the east as far as you can, grabbing with the left, so you're getting some rotation here, having to lower your center of gravity, pass it back to the right, go to south, grab with the left, and then we'll go right hand place. If you fall off, step back on, reset and grab. So about 1 minute on one side, then we'll swap sides. And then you're doing the same thing, but left hand's placing first. So left, stand back up. Right, stand back up. Left place to west. Right, pick up. Left, south. Right. Left, east. And then right. All right, now we're doing a single leg compass reach using our foot to move the hacky instead of our hand. So standing on one leg, grabbing the hacky with your foot, or you could use a balled up pair of socks if you don't have one, or if the hacky's too hard. And then lowering as far as you can forward to the north, stand back up completely, grab again with the right, stand back up, and then you go over to east. As far as you can, stand back up, grab, as far as you can backwards, so you can see you're getting a lot of mobility demands, coordination, dexterity in your feet, all while this leg is working pretty hard to maintain your stability. So now to go west, this leg comes around the back as far as you can, standing back up, reach, missed it. So the further you go, the harder that is to pick back up. Good to remember. Swap sides. Should take about a minute for a full round. So aiming for that full round on each side and just exploring. If you can't get out that far at first, don't stress. Just go as far as you can, might just be a little place. And then round the back to west. All right, now we're playing with some ninja catches. So ninja stance is with your forefoot along the top of the soulmate, toes wrapping over like that. First up, just get your balance here. If it's a little too tough on the soulmate, then you can do it on flat ground, or if you just don't have a soulmate. And then again, some kind of ball, preferably a hacky, but anything will do. And we're just going throw catch like that. So nice small throw catches at first to get used to it. And then as you build up your confidence with this stance, you can go higher and higher throws. So that you're actually having to follow that with your head. Or you can go wider and wider throws as well. So from over here, following it with your eyes and head the whole way. And obviously best to reset between each rep. So expect some errors here. If you step off, just have a bit of a rest, shake it out, stand back on. We're going for a total of 2 minutes here. And you can also play with some drop catch. So I'll drop, squat down, catch, throw, squat back up, catch, and reset. So plenty there to keep you busy. Of course, you could also do round the back, throw, catch. Just get creative with it. If you're finding the normal ones are too easy, get creative until you find something hard enough. All right, and last up, we're working on heel ninja. So that is same as ninja stance, except it's our heels on the top of the soulmate. And I'd encourage you just to get used to this stance first, because it's quite challenging. We're only going to spend a minute here. You'll start feeling some activation through your tibialis muscles down here. And obviously you'll feel the rest of your body working to maintain that stability. So once you are used to that, you can add in a hacky on the fist as a measure of your control. So just keep your eyes on the hacky. This takes one hand away, so it makes it a little harder to balance. But great way to measure how controlled you're staying. And if you really want to spice it up, feeling adventurous, you could go for a squat down in heel ninja and standing back up. So play with that for 1 minute and then you're finished. Thanks for watching. If you're getting value out of these videos, please like and subscribe. We do put out videos like this every week. And if you're looking for more structured programs and support, then we do have our Explorer membership, which you can find out more about through the link in the description below.